Hello, happy Sunday, happy Father's Day for all those celebrating. I am here, I'm back. It's been a crazy week. I have a high school graduate now. There's been a lot of momentous occasions happening here at our house, and I'm so excited to be here to tap in now with everything that I've been moving through and all the spiritual breadcrumbs that have come forward for me, kind of taking the time to be present and reflective and grateful and all the things that have come forward in deep feels and everything in between. We come to this week ahead where we meet each Sunday for the collective to tap into the tarot and oracle decks for some guidance, wisdom, and insight into the week ahead. So if you're catching this on my Empowerment Sharecast on the Marco Polo app, you know what we do. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. If you're seeing this on one of my social media spaces, I am Marissa from Growing the Flow, and this is a sample of how I share my intuitive card readings and other spiritual tools on this beautiful platform, the Empowerment Sharecast that I do over on the Marco Polo app. It's just a little place that's tucked away from the noise of social media where I'm able to connect with you more directly, a little more intimately. And in fact, I am able to offer you a personal card pull, a complimentary card pull for you with these week ahead messages. So the first thing we do is tap in and pull our cards from these gorgeous decks that we've intuitively selected for this month and see what's coming forward for this week ahead. Then I break down into each day of the week, a quick message for each card that's come forward. And then if you would like a personal card pull to build on that, you may request that simply by quick replying to the Marco Polo post, or if you want to reach out to me in any way that works for you, let me know, and I'll be pulling those cards throughout this incredibly energetically busy week. What's on deck? Well, we're going to get into the energetic weather a little bit after we've pulled these cards, but this is solstice week. So this whole week is culminating into the solstice. And depending on where you are in the world, you are welcoming in summer solstice or winter solstice. And so you will see that I'm showing you here one of those two spreads that I'm offering as a special. If you would like to book a summer solstice or winter solstice reading with me, I'm going to be setting up the solstice altar here later today and really tuning in to see which altar elements are coming forward, color, crystal, spirit, animal, and other aspects we bring in to support you throughout the season ahead. And then we move through this spread or the winter solstice spread with the chosen decks that I'll be bringing forward. So if you're interested in booking one of those, try not to wait. I will let it be available through the rest of this month, but it's a very busy time because we also have the full moon in Capricorn happening on the 21st. So if you're already with me for the Empowerment Pack this week, of course, or this whole month, of course, this week you'll be getting your full moon in Capricorn reading. If anyone would just like to try out that one reading, the full moon empowerment reading, that is also available this week. So check the caption or my bio. Feel free to just reach out and we will get you the link if you would like to book either of those special offerings. We'll be previewing some cards here because in addition to the beautiful Tarot of Oneness that we are working with this whole month by Robin Voicey. Love this deck so much. That's the tarot energy we'll tap into for our 5-card spread for Monday through Friday. We also have the amazing Queen of the Moon Oracle from Stacey DeMarco that we use with every lunation, where we'll be pulling the card that will be representing the overarching energy of this full moon in Capricorn. This full moon in Capricorn is one of 2 full moons in Capricorn we'll be experiencing this year. So it's going to be initiating just a part of the story, something that's really calling for us to take responsibility and to highlight those areas that are in need of healing. We're also welcoming in Cancer season at the same time. So how perfect for the healing, for the feels. So happy birthday to all Cancerians as we welcome that in this week as well. And then finally, we've also been using this gorgeous deck all month, the Seasons of the Witch Litha Oracle, where we will again pull a card for solstice this week. So let's get into it because we've got a bunch of cards to pull. We're going to start with our 5-card spread for this week. I don't know about you guys because it was so crazy. For me, I definitely feel like the official poster child of the 6 of Cups that came up for us for Thursday of last week as how we are growing. with all of the deep feels and reflections and nostalgia and moving through time that I experienced seeing my first baby graduate. And I know many of you did touch base and let me know how some of these cards were playing out for you. I love to see how things show up for each of us so differently, and yet again, this being collective, you're going to find some aspects to resonate more than others. And that's just fine. Take what resonates, leave the rest. There's always someone else there to pick it up. The best way to get real direct personal guidance is to have your own reading. So again, if you would like a free personal card pull, be sure to be checking it out on the Marco Polo Empowerment Sharecast. Okay, let's get our card for Monday to kick off this week, sort of setting the tone for us. See what's coming up. Oh, I love this card. Ace of Swords, beautiful. This card came up last week for a couple of people and did lead to some very interesting conversations about the symbolism of the parrot and more. So this Ace of Swords is definitely cutting through with some clarity, with some awarenesses perhaps, and such. So we will build on that for Monday. Tuesday is the card that represents a potential block or challenge this week. So what may be a potential block or challenge? See what's coming forward. There it is again, the Lovers card. So I highlighted this actually over the new moon in Gemini, because really cool about this deck is it actually has 2 Lovers cards. Oh, we can't make it up. Look what's winking right at me from the top of the deck. Stop it. These are both coming out for sure. So we're going to have 6 cards out here technically. I love that this deck does 2 Lovers cards to represent the divine masculine and feminine, and bringing together that duality, bringing together the choice as above, so below that comes forward through this card, the Lovers. So that's amazing. That was very aligned that they both just popped out like that. So that's a potential blocker challenge. How that number 6 speaks to relationships, to balance, to harmony, how our relationships are serving as our greatest teachers. So much to get into on that. Wednesday is our midweek blessing, a midweek blessing for us as we move into closer to solstice. 6 of Wands. I love it. Ready for your close-up. We're seeing this energy of being seen, of victory, success. Wow, I'm seeing this color scheme here that's happening between these cards as well, like really feeling that pulling us in. So we'll talk about that connection with that midweek blessing. Then we're going to get into Thursday is how we are growing, with a wink from the inspiration of Wands. So Thursday is going to really start to get us into that 20th, 21st, getting into solstice now, depending on where you are in the world. We move into Cancer season and solstice through this period. And then, of course, that full moon in Capricorn. So Thursday, how are we growing this week? Collective message. 5 of Swords, victory at what cost? The scorched earth, the energy of, I love this. I like that 6 and the 5 coming together here to take a look at the way in which that could be showing up for us. So growing in the knowing, that is the juice worth the squeeze. Very interesting. Okay. And finally, Friday, wrapping it all up on full moon Friday. What's coming forward for us collectively? What's coming forward? Action of Swords. Wow. So we go from the Ace of Swords at the beginning of the week to Action of Swords, which is going to be like a Knight of Swords, which is, wow, taking action and movement on some of those divinely inspired ideas and more. Beautiful. Okay, we'll do our solstice card first. So a card for summer solstice coming from this gorgeous deck. Celebrating Litha, midsummer, bringing in that energy. What is coming forward as a collective message for us this solstice week? 1 card. Stargazing, number 33, that master teacher number 33. It takes a lot of courage to reach for the stars, to expand the self, but it is possible. Feeling that with this, and you know what's cool? So 33 is a 6 energy, right? 3 plus 3. 666, right in the middle of the week here. Of course, these are all representing 1 6 and this the other, but isn't that neat that we have that multiples of 6 coming in, which is again highlighting how we are learning, growing, healing, and expanding through our relationships of all kinds. Finally, let's get our Queen of the Moon. So this is also the card that we will use in the full moon empowerment reading, where I'll be selecting a spread. Ooh, who wanted to jump out there? Action. Action of Swords, Ace of Swords, feeling that. Let me just, and it's 15, which adds up to 6. Do we have to keep this? I think we have to keep it. Okay, this is the one. Wow, that feels really aligned, you see, because the 1 and 5 is bringing through that frequency of 6 and using that word of action. And oh, look at this. It's for waxing gibbous 6. Wow, so aligned. So yeah, really feeling that with these swords on either end of the week. Probably a little swan song for Gemini season and that air element that we've been moving through that's maybe had us really intellectualizing or bringing in balance between head and heart as we get ready to move into Cancer season, which of course will be all about those feels in the heart, the flow, the water element. Okay, guys, I can't wait to dive into all of this. Please check out my links or just feel free to just contact me. If you are interested in booking any of the readings this week, again, join me for the full moon reading. Join me for a solstice reading. But do check out the messages for this week over on my free Empowerment Sharecast and request your personal free card pull. All right, guys, thank you so much. Lots of love. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off here with our energetic weather for this week. So among some of the highlights of the week, we also have June 17th, Mercury and Venus moving into Cancer. So Mercury and Venus moving into Cancer will create a soft, gentle, and compassionate waves of energy. And Venus in Cancer becomes the nurturer, and Mercury in Cancer becomes the poet. So there's some really beautiful, soft energy that we can take advantage of on this day. You can use that energy dynamic to create some gentleness and some grace in and around you. So that sounds like a really beautiful transit to tap into. That's going to be on the 17th. And then the rest of the week, we've got these big headlines coming in, the June 20th through the 21st. So June 20th, Sun entering Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancerians. The solstice coming in. So solstice is here as a power day in our year that moves our energy grid into higher harmony. So when the energy grid of the planet is vibing high, we can use that day to set intentions, to soak up the healing power of Mother Nature with greater ease. So it's an amazing time for you to spend time in nature if you can, or bring nature into your home. That can really help to intensify the experience. Solstice also represents a shift of seasons for some parts of the world, whether it be summer or winter. And so the shift in seasons can be used to create a shift in our own lives as well. So remember, nature speaks as within, so without. So what we're seeing on the outside is reflecting opportunities on the inside. So remember that we too move through our own seasons of life. So if this is a time that you would like some more insight and guidance into how you can work with these things, or perhaps you're already feeling or moving through a shift in your life or changing seasons, you may want to check out the solstice readings that I have available this week. I have a spread both for the summer solstice that you see here and one for the winter solstice. So at the end of our messages here on Marco Polo, I'll share a link to my seasonal specials, and you'll see those two spreads there, and you can check out what we dive into. But it's so much more than that, because we actually create an altar space where we bring in altar elements to support us throughout the season. So in addition to the card spread that is there for summer or winter, we also have messages coming from crystal, color, spirit, animal, and more. So do check that out. It's a packed reading, very reasonable and very informative for really tapping into guidance to reflect back on the previous season and to look ahead into what's coming forward. Along with all of that happening, we have June 21st, Capricorn full moon. So now as I mentioned in the card poll, this is one of 2 Capricorn full moons this year. So this is only going to be just a part of the story. And there is, in fact, some intensity that's brewing. It's a call for us to step up and take responsibility, to take ownership in our lives. Now, we will really be diving into this in the full moon empowerment reading. So that's another thing that's available to connect with me on this week. If you are not already with me for the empowerment pack, you may like to just come along for this a la carte full moon empowerment reading where we're going to really dive into those energies and reflect on what's coming forward in terms of where we're being guided to take responsibility in our own lives, whether we're saying we want something, but do our actions really reflect that? And as I'm saying that, I'm realizing how perfect our Queen of the Moon Oracle card of action is in so many ways right now. So I will definitely be diving into all of that and more in that reading. So, just to give you some highlights about this full moon, again, full moons illuminate and bring to light for us sometimes what can be some hard truths about really getting us to take that long look at ourselves and the actions we're taking or not taking. I'm also feeling a little called out right now myself. So in some ways it can feel like a little bit of a rude awakening, sort of snapping us out of any like self-pity or self-sabotage and moving into a place of leadership. Again, I can't even tell you how perfect, looking at our collective cards here, how that 6 lovers energy, which by the way is the Gemini energy of the tarot, which is the card that goes with the lovers is the Devil, which is the Capricorn energy of the tarot. So there's so many connections here, and also the energy of 6 with the numbers on the card. So there's a lot to dive into here to really help you to take the reins under this full moon and really move through taking responsibility and inspired action that is aligned. So we're going to get into that much deeper in the empowerment reading. So do check that out if you're interested in getting deeper insights. And I'll also be sharing a ritual from Forever Conscious, which is actually a combo this month of both the full moon and the solstice. So that is something else you won't want to miss. So do check out the booking link for that. All right, let's get into our cards this week. They are so aligned. I can't wait to see what messages come forward. All right, we're going to kick off our card messages this week with the oracle card we pulled for solstice this week. So really starting to feel into these energies that solstice is ushering in through the seasons of the witch Litha oracle. We got this card of stargazing, master teacher number 33, the number of Christ consciousness, and also bringing in again the frequency of the number 6 for balance, healing, and harmony in relationships. So as we look at this stargazing card, which says it takes a lot of courage to reach for the stars, to expand the self, but it is possible. Key words are coming forward here as courage, reaching for the stars, what is truly possible. So the message says, look up to the starry skies and imagine how much we've already discovered of the myriad worlds out there. Humans have launched satellites into space to connect billions of people worldwide, and we've put men on the moon and sent rovers to Mars. We've created telescopes that are capable of seeing beyond our solar system and have discovered planets light years away. All of those things started as a spark in someone's imagination, little more than a passing thought that turned into life-changing history. This is really cool because we start this week with the Ace of Swords, which is the card that represents that spark, that inspired idea, something that comes up within the imagination and then culminates into taking action. So these cards are really, really working together this week. Knowing all this, ask yourself if what you want is truly possible. Will it be difficult? Probably. Will it require you to grow, adapt, have courage, and take risks? Yes, of course. But is it impossible? No, my dear, it is not. Something is only impossible until someone believes enough to make it a reality. There is a pathway for you to manifest your dreams and ideas if you're willing to reach higher than what you're comfortable with. You cannot reach your goals being who you are now. And while there's nothing wrong with who you are today, if you were the kind of person who could accomplish your goals, you'd have them already. Have the audacity to imagine your best self and then become that. How do you need to grow in order to chase your dreams? Are there skills you need to learn or habits to defeat? Or do you need to forgive someone and possibly yourself? Consider how you can expand yourself, whether your reading is about love, career, finances, or creative pursuits. You broaden your ideas of what's possible every time you have the courage to learn something new or challenge an outdated idea of yourself. Yeah, I think that's really powerful, because when you think about the notion of stargazing and really taking in just like the magnitude of the cosmos, which is perfect because of course we've been working with the cosmos elemental energy all month, which has that key word of expand. And you look up there and you see things that are beyond all comprehension, that defy all sense of logic, right? Which logic in itself is very limiting because it only looks at one perspective, when actually we have all of these different components. And within ourself, it's represented as mind, body, spirit, right? Emotions, and these different layers of our body and of our beingness, but also looking at the cosmos and knowing that we are also a part of that, and it is infinite. So why would we not then embrace the notion that we have infinite potential to be, do, see, create anything that we can possibly imagine, that we can manifest that into being? We just haven't yet. And yet there is a place to say, yes, we have. It's all here. We just aren't aware of it yet. We haven't adapted our awareness around the knowingness that these seemingly impossible things are in fact possible. So it's a very expansive message that's coming in with this card. And I love that, because as it relates to solstice and harnessing the power of the sun and the source of all creation, of which we are all part, really helps me to feel more deeply connected to that infinite potential. And it really does bring in so many of the messages on the altar this week around shining and standing in our power and allowing ourselves to claim that victory, success, leadership in those places that we are most inspired. So with that, let us get into our cards this week. We're going to start with the tarot messages, and then we'll culminate into that ever more resonant Queen of the Moon Oracle card. I can't believe how perfect that one was when it jumped out. So we'll finish off with that one. So let's get into the Monday energy now. All right, we are kicking off our tarot messages this week with the Monday card, which is the Ace of Swords, this gorgeous depiction of this air element, the energy of some type of message or offering or something new coming onto the scene in the suit of the swords, which is going to connect in with focus, mental clarity, having reason, logic, intellect, and can be in the form of new ideas, aha moments, light bulbs going off, sudden realizations, expansive thinking, spreading those wings and finding that one clear idea or thought or something that comes in that's a breakthrough, a new opportunity. It's a motivation to just go for it, really to start something like a new venture or to be in the pursuit of truth. Ace of Swords also representing like that sword of truth, cutting through to clarity. It's direct. And so it's beautifully depicted as this gorgeous parrot that's really swooping in here to present you with some type of an unexpected opportunity. So it's an offering of inspiration. So as we kick off this week, I really feel that it's interesting that, as we're closing out Gemini season and all this air element energy that's been very much about having focus, clarity, bringing together head and heart and finding those imbalances between the two, that we have swords on either end of our spread this week. And here it's at the beginning, the inception, the ace. So it really is about something new that's coming in. And it is inspiring. And it brings forward that feeling that you get when a brilliant idea flashes through your head and kind of gets that adrenaline pumping, is what the message is coming through here as with this Tarot of Oneness guidance. And we see this laurel wreath that's being held here, which is also a traditional symbol of the Six of Wands. So I'm feeling so many connections this week between the cards and how it's all feeding together, that this idea, this thought, this aha moment, this clarity, this brilliant flash of insight to take action, inspired action, is also reflected here as the Six of Wands as our midweek blessing, which is about victory, success, being a leader, going for it, taking your shot. So I'm really feeling that coming in here, and that can show up, of course, so many different ways. So whether it is something like the solution to a problem or something that you've been trying to sort out, or maybe just a completely new idea, this brings in high energy and motivation. And so this is really engaging our intellect, our skills, and communication could be highlighted here. Parrot, okay, the parroting. In May, the spirit animal that came forward in the empowerment pack was the parrot. And it really was about how we are speaking to ourselves, and in turn, how that connects with how we speak to others. And so once again, communication is being highlighted here, and it starts within. It starts with our own self-talk, and very specifically here in the head, right? Our thoughts, the way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we speak to others, and bringing an opportunity for us to mirror and reflect that in the way that the parrot would inspire us here. Now, it's saying that the Ace of Swords can suggest that there are some opportunities that you really should grab onto while the creative thoughts are flowing. So, just the same as with any new venture, there could be some challenges to overcome. This is to be expected, but don't worry. Your clear thinking and rational approach will help you achieve your goal. Again, that laurel wreath is indicative of victory. It's an opportunity for you to grab when you can. So again, faster paced energy, feeling into that to see how that might be showing up for you, how it is speaking to you. So let's take that and move into our Tuesday energy for the potential block or challenge this week. Let's take a look. Okay, now Tuesday is bringing us a twofer in this gorgeous deck, the Tarot of Oneness. The lovers are depicted as two separate cards, one with the divine masculine, one with the divine feminine, both bringing forward that duality of the Gemini energy of the tarot, which is card 6 in the major arcana. So yes, this is definitely carrying through this theme that we've been tapping into this whole month 6 of the year, and the Gemini energy up until this point, as we get ready to step into Cancer season, we have this energy coming in with the lovers. As above, so below. As within, so without. The duality. And there is a sense of this mirror heart reflection energy that I'm feeling here. How is this a block or challenge? This is a card that does denote, yes, lovers, relationships. It can be romantic, but also friendship, love of all kinds, and really bringing in the element of choice, that there is a choice. It also brings in heaven on earth energy. So our perspective of what we see, there's this mirroring opportunity, this duality of we can see heaven or we can see hell. There's this energy of these opposites that we can bring a blending of harmony and balance to, which is again the frequency of that number 6. And so there is vulnerability in that as well. We see this whole where the heart is shining, and maybe you see it as a whole, maybe you see it as a beacon of light. Again, it's all about perspective. It's all about that dualistic way of seeing things. And so, there's many different ways that the Lovers card has been interpreted throughout history of the tarot. And so many do see it as that reflection of romantic love, perhaps creating conscious connections that exist outside of sexual relationships. And I think even further, what this is pushing, what this is pressing against is breaking out of those traditional molds of what that is to be in relationship and how we define relationships and how we relate. So, there's a lot that I feel here that, of course, it's a challenge or it can be a block because it isn't something that perhaps we have yet perceived or that we have been able to sort of harmonize and bring in. Because of its ability to also speak to close friendships, meaningful partnerships, where there are equally energetic bonds and a strong, loving energy that flows back and forth in beautiful and empowering ways. So whatever the nature of the relationship, it really is best described here by the Tarot of Oneness. This is beautiful, as a soul connection. So all relationships include some type of soul-to-soul connection. There's serving that's happening here between any relationship. And this includes our relationship with aspects of ourself, relationships with things, with circumstances. It's not just people, it's not just romantic, it's not just friendship, it's not just business, it's all the things, which is why we see all of the different strands of energy that are all encompassing here as a part of the whole. So there's guidance here around opening your heart to receive love, and that how that does in fact begin with self-love, as we were just saying about the Ace of Swords, that self-talk, and also a theme that we've been tapping into here with the stargazing card and what we have coming up ahead about having courage and boldness to stand in your power and to be your most authentic self when it comes to expressing yourself in your relationships. So, it's talking here about questioning, contemplating to yourself when it begins with self-love. How can you attract a beautiful relationship with someone else if you don't love and respect yourself? So focus on taking care of your body, mind, and spirit by making your own well-being and happiness a priority. Know your worth and accept nothing less than what your beautiful soul deserves. So now, that's really where it's at. It's again, as within, so without. So we start where we can, which is within, and looking at, again, how we are loving ourselves, supporting ourselves, and where is that balance in. So many different things are coming to mind for me with this. So we'll see how it comes up for people. But, our relationship with our physical body is coming to mind for me. And all the things that we ask our physical body to do for us, to how we may think about our physical body, the thoughts that we have about our physical body, how we talk to our physical body, how we treat our physical body. Where is the reciprocity in that? Are you honoring and respecting your physical body with gratitude? Or again, are you looking at it in disgust? And it's really interesting because if you thought of it in terms of if you had a relationship with another person and what would be acceptable and not acceptable to one of them literally carrying you, right? Thank you, legs. Thank you, feet. Thank you, spine, for holding me up. All the things that our body does for us, and how do we reciprocate? So I don't know, I'm just getting a ping about that because it starts within, and it starts with that self-talk. It starts with, and that can be a block. It can be a challenge for so many of us, myself included. Like I said, feeling called out here, just sharing the tidbits that are coming to me intuitively and trusting that there is something in there for you. So tap into that energy however you will, but we definitely have this double here with the 6/6 lovers energy coming in to really culminate this Gemini season, reflecting back on all of that has transpired, and then pivoting into the Cancer season energy with the flow, the feels, and of course the relationships that start again at home, in family, from within. So really cool how this is sort of serving as that bridge for us as we move into the week. Let's go ahead now and take a look at our Wednesday card for the potential, the blessing, the midweek blessing that we have coming in this week for us. All right, Wednesday is our midweek blessing, and the Six of Wands is coming in here with the paparazzi, this energy. And it's funny because I've been getting all of these camera references because I think I mentioned this because I was talking about, there's a saying about life is like a camera that has to do with like taking your shot, focusing, the negatives, and, all these different, this play on words around really focusing in, recognizing that we take the good with those negatives, and then always, taking another picture, taking a new snapshot as we go. There's this energy of that was giving me a nod through a couple of the different messages that we've already tapped into here. But Six of Wands traditionally is that card of being in the spotlight, being seen, getting accolades, getting praise, success, having self-confidence. It has to do with rewards, with victory, triumph, achieving a milestone, receiving acknowledgement, and it being your time to shine. So sometimes this can show up in the workplace or a project you've been working on or something that you've been working to bring into completion that is finished. It doesn't necessarily mean you're on a runway having a photo shoot or that you're, riding into town on a white horse carrying your laurel wreath. It's representative of the vibration of that energy of being seen and applauded and being able to shine and to take that time to recognize hard work that is well done and being rewarded. So the message here from the Tarot of Oneness, smile for the camera. Your accomplishments have been noticed. You have reached a milestone, or perhaps you may be receiving an award or public recognition for the work that you've done. Whatever it is, soak in that positive energy that is flowing towards you. It's time for you to stand tall while you accept all of the accolades that come with success. It can be easy to move on to your next opportunity without pausing to congratulate yourself, but you really must recognize what you have accomplished so far. The confidence that comes from acknowledging your success is invaluable. Some of us struggle with receiving love from others. We are comfortable giving love and recognizing the talents of others, but we tend to downplay our own successes. Is this you? Consider this as a reminder that it's okay to pat yourself on the back sometimes. Yeah, that's important too. Again, that balance in the reciprocity of our relationships. Do we give praise and acknowledgement freely to others, but then for ourselves, we downplay, we go right for the negatives, the things that went wrong, all of that, and really having this mirror opportunity to see that reflected back at us through these snapshots. Another thing I'm feeling is, recognizing that you're being seen by people you don't even know who you're inspiring, who is seeing you, because we see all of these photographers, faceless photographers, to say that there are people who are being inspired by you, who are receiving meaningful thoughts, inspirations, ideas, lessons, what have you, through your work, through your being you, that you may not even realize the far reaching of what it is that you are bringing forward. So I feel that too. On the flip side, yes, there is a time where others may not understand where we're coming from or what it is that we're leading the way on, that there could be some that, don't see it through that same lens. And that's okay too. Because when we talk about, all of the diversity in our experiences, our perspectives, that when we stay open to looking at others and zooming out, that's another thing. So we're just going to keep bringing in the camera references, zooming out and then zooming in and seeing the different perspectives from the different angles and how they each can present a very different picture. So anytime that we're presented with something, especially bringing it back into our blocks and challenges this week, anytime we're presented with something like that, where we're feeling that resistance or we're feeling that in clarity or it's fuzzy, it's not coming into focus where we can really truly understand where another is coming from, or we feel misunderstood, or we don't feel seen or acknowledged for the work that we're doing, we have an opportunity to zoom out and look at it through those different lenses and the bigger picture so that we can perhaps arrive at that aha moment, that flash, that insight in seeing through another's lens, so there's a lot coming in for me there too. So just think about the way that this 6, again, of wands may be presenting itself here for you this week. Now let's get into our Thursday energy for how we are growing. Okay, Thursday is coming in as how we are growing, and we have the 5 of Swords, which is bringing in this energy I like to call, like, from this version, scorched earth. The scorched earth, victory at all costs, not going to stop until I emerge the victor, right? I want to come out on top. I want to be number one. I want to be right. I want to be, that energy, which can sometimes, it can go one of two ways. It can have to do with having a really strong, resilient spirit that keeps going against all odds. But more often, it can have to do with this, disintegratous, means of claiming victory that we may witness happening with others, or that we may find unwittingly we have been participating in. And there's a sense of kind of setting down that sword. Is the juice worth the squeeze? All that goes into arriving at that victorious place, is it worth it, right? So how are we growing? It's a card that represents conflict, winning at all costs, disagreement, failure, competition, defeat, falling out, a sense of loss. It cautions to pick your battles wisely and to be open to making amends. So, it's interesting because whether this is something that you connect with as you emerging the quote unquote victor, or you see it in someone else that's maybe touting a victory that's actually really hollow, it says very flatly, congratulations, you won. Way to go. Period, period, period. You knew you were right, and you fought a good fight to prove that you could win. But let me ask you something. Did you lose sight of what you were fighting for? Did the prize and the drive to become champion overshadow what was really going on? Did you behave respectfully and with dignity? If you're engaged in a conflict right now, take a moment to consider your actions and how you can move ahead to create the best outcome for everyone involved. Question your motivations and actions to examine whether or not your ego has taken over. Is that shiny trophy you received even worth it if you're the only one who gets to see it? When you look at it, does it make you feel dread in the pit of your stomach? It may be a good time to question whether it was all worth it, if it meant hurting someone else or destroying relationships. So again, depending on how this is showing up for you, whether it's an opportunity for self-reflection, all things are opportunities for self-reflection, because we know everyone and everything is showing up for us. We're learning through our relationships about ourself. So even if it's not you who's trying to go for that trophy or touting a hollow victory, it's someone else at your expense perhaps, or at the expense of another that you're witnessing, whatever it is. How is that showing up for you? What is coming in for you to learn about what conflict and competition, to the extent of this scorched earth, stop at nothing to be able to claim victory or being right, and is it worth it? So again, it highlights potentially those dynamics in relationships. And I think that this could really speak to as well our relationship with, again, now we're going to talk about Cancer season coming in, which is highlighting family and the home, and definitely very much in the feels and reflection of things for us that are coming up to be healed from, to reconcile. And so, those old stories and patterns and things that we've been perpetuating for a very long time as the trophy or the token of why it is that we fell out of that relationship, or that we don't have communication, or whatever it is there a new way of looking at it? That doesn't mean that it equals reconciliation or full assumption of responsibility or anything, or absolving someone completely from the role that they've played. Oftentimes we cling to that, those different grudges, and those, I call it the Rolodex, when we have that like file. Rolodex, for those of you who just know about phone numbers living in your phone, back in the day, we had this physical, thing that sat on a desk that had these alphabetical tabs that contained cards that had the address, phone number, contact information of everyone that you could flip through. This is me flipping through the Rolodex. It's a phrase for whipping out that Rolodex of all the things that ever transpired, all the grudges, all of the faults, all of the victories, all of the failures, and everything in between, and standing on that like it's, this hill that we would die on with this old story. So I feel like this is really a prelude, I think, to this Capricorn full moon number 1 of the things that oh, look at me with the hill on the hill. Look at that mountaintop with that flag. Yeah. Is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And is there a new, again, lens, a new way for me to zoom out and see things from different perspectives that actually offer healing and aha moments for me? We're not even talking about the other. We're talking about self. We're talking about those old thoughts, beliefs, stories, grudges, resentments, whatever they are, that have been living rent-free in our head, that we're carrying around, that are now coming up for us to take responsibility for the roles that we have played in all of those stories, to see things through new perspectives, through different angles, and as we get into this full moon, be talking about what are we ready to release, to shed, to forgive, to transmute. What's not coming with? And like I said, this does not equal reconciliation. If it's something that has to do with like feeling like a no contact, or again, scorched earth situation, it's new healing perspectives that are coming in for you to take action, double action coming in here at the end of the week in a really beautifully healing way is what I'm feeling. So there we have it. We'll leave that there. And I definitely feel that that's going to continue to expand into the full moon energies as we go. So do remember, if you want to get deeper into that, you can join me for the full moon empowerment reading that we'll be doing here for the end of the week. Let's take a look now at Friday. All right, Friday, bringing in that full moon in Capricorn flare with the second of the action-based energies that we feel here, with the Ace of Swords starting the week and the Action of Swords culminating the week. And it's going to be very closely connected to the quite aligned card of action that came forward from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. So we'll be getting into that next, but I'm going to keep that here because, again, it does feel very connected to this energy as it does represent the Capricorn full moon. This is like the Knight of Swords in the traditional tarot, here beautifully as the Action of Swords. So as we were just talking about Thursdays, how we are growing and the scorched earth energy and like dying on that hill, sticking that flag there to be the victor, to be the one that got there first, to be the one. Is it all worth it? Is that juice worth the squeeze? There's definitely a component of that. This is helping to bolster, the intuitive connection to those messages for some people. But, Action of Swords connecting in with an Ace of Swords is beautiful energy for ideas and flashes of insight and inspiration, taking action, ambition, being driven to succeed. It's fast moving energy, right? Swords are the fastest moving suit of the tarot, where there's air energy, it's cutting through, it's clear, it's direct. So and it represents our intellect. So there's definitely this, fast thinking, using your intellect to achieve your goals, action oriented, highly motivated, representing, diving right in, well-developed communication skills, because that sword represents air, expression, the throat chakra, feeling that sense of cutting through, speaking truths, all of that. So this is the card that says it's time to take action. Then we have the action card fly out of the Queen of the Moon deck right after this. Also being a card 15, which is a 6 energy, which aligns with many of these cards we've been talking about, has the number 6 on the card and so much more. So follow the spiritual breadcrumbs as you will. This one is talking about once you've made a decision on what you would like to accomplish, launch forward swiftly. You're motivated, ambitious, and resolute in your goals. No one is going to stand in your way. You will surmount any obstacles in your path and know that you can do whatever you need to do to be successful. This isn't one of those times when you question yourself or let someone else talk you down. Remember, we've got this card of the 6 of Wands, victory, success, bravery, courage of standing in our power and being seen and allowing ourselves to lead with whatever it is that we're bringing forward. So here comes this energy where it's not the time for you to question yourself or let someone else talk you down. Your challenge will be flying forward at such a fast pace with blinders on that you may cut too many corners or create unintended consequences that you may regret later. To avoid these situations, plan before you leap. So you see, there's still that intellectual component. That's one of the things about the swords, and specifically the Knight of Swords or Action of Swords, is we don't want to peel out so fast that we burn out, right? Spin out. And you can see here's the beautiful silhouette of a traditional notion of that knight on that horse that you can see there's just this movement happening, right? This can represent you or someone else in your life, but the movement forward will be very fast and very focused. So once again, bringing in that focus as we were getting from that 6 of Wands. But there's a lot of energy that speaks to this will be successful. So you can take that off the table of things that we're worried about, right? If it feels divinely inspired, it is divinely inspired. Take action. Use that gift of excellent communication skills to express your thoughts and ideas with others. Whether it is, debating on topics or discussing current events, these things can actually be rewarding when you're conversing with like-minded individuals. Now, to that, I will add some of the things that came up in the prior cards about, getting into those battle of wits or some type of conflict in perspective. Again, when we zoom out, when we see that big picture, when we allow for understanding that others' perspectives are coming through their unique lens, through their filter, through their experiences, through a myriad of different things that are different from you, doesn't make them right or wrong. So when we approach those conversations and those situations with, again, more heart openness, which is another thing that we see as we move through this week, those conversations can actually be quite successful. We can really make some heart-to-heart connections in places where we previously had a lot of disconnect. Another thing that's mentioned here in the symbolism of the card is how you see part of the background is blurred. So once again, bringing in yet another camera analogy, blurred surroundings suggest focusing strongly on your target may distract you from potential hurdles and pitfalls along the way. So we want to be focused, but we don't want to have those blinders on to the point that we don't see things in our peripheral vision. We talked a little bit about that there's people who you don't see, you don't even know who they may be that you're inspiring, but also there can be a little bit of that. And it's funny because I chose to wear this bracelet today, which is the evil eye. Warding off any of that energy is having an awareness of those who may not understand or who are coming from a lower vibrational, unhealed place with a little bit of that stink eye. So I'm getting a little nod to that too, to just be aware and use discernment when it comes to who you're sharing your inspired ideas with and who all you are including in this summit to the mountaintop, and all of those types of things as well. And speaking of the mountaintop, the flag on the mountain peak represents your ultimate goal. It's the target in which you hone in with laser focus. So, really a potential for harnessing the energies of this full moon of solstice, which just magnetizes the energy for intention setting, for manifestation, for all of it. Is coming in here with the Action of Swords. It really feels like a beautifully aligned energy. And like I said, we're going to build on that. We're going to touch on this action card last to close out our messages this week. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to expand into it, please join me for the full moon empowerment reading. It's available now. I'm going to put the link here for you to check out after I'm done these messages for you joining me for the empowerment full moon reading and or the solstice, because we have a beautiful, fun seasonal spread for the summer or winter solstice as well. So do check those out. Again, let me know if you'd like a personal card pull as well for this week. Let's wrap it all up now with the Queen of the Moon Oracle card. Okay, the final card that we are tapping into here for our week ahead is the Queen of the Moon Oracle card that flew out of the deck, the Action card. So this is the card that we're going to expand on in the full moon empowerment reading if you want to come along to really dive into these energies. But as I've been pointing out all throughout our cards this week, the energy of 6 is present in this 6th month, bringing forward the stargazing, which was card 33, carrying a 6 vibration, the dual lovers cards, 6 each, and then the 6 of wands. And now we have this 15, 1 plus 5 being 6, and in fact represents the waxing gibbous 6 moon phase. So we have this 6 energy all around, which is harmony, balance, healing, relationships. So feeling that number 6 and the word action, as we've just talked about the Action of Swords, it talks about the time has come to take action. Let go of your paralysis. Let go of your burdens, step by step. Remember I talked about the Rolodex when we had that 5 of Swords for how we are growing this week, the Thursday card, and the energy of those grudges, those resentments, those things that we filed in a card catalog in alphabetical order that we can refer to at any time when we go over the wheres and whys and the hows and all the things about those dynamics with others. We're being encouraged to let go. Those things have become burdens for us to carry. There's a burdensome energy to all of that dense, heavy energy that doesn't really matter. Victory, but at what cost? So now we have this card coming in. The mantra with this card, I am responsive and ready to take action. So it's definitely a card that speaks to encouraging us to embrace action. And that, again, as we talked about with several of these cards, starting with the stargazing energy for the solstice, about had it not been for taking something from the imagination, an inspired idea, and taking action on it, we would never have gotten anywhere but lying in that field, gazing up at the sky, wondering, right? So there's this beautiful energy of taking that first step. And the fact that it's a dancer, to me, reminds me of this delicate dance that is this fool's journey that we're taking, yes, in this physical body, and the many ways that we get to express all that it is to encompass humanity, right, through all the senses. And the dancing could bring us into so many different things. And I like to think about it as this delicate dance that we do in our relationships with all things, with ourselves, with others, with aspects and everything we've been talking about. That yes, there's going to be some missteps. We're going to step on some toes, right? We're going to have these moments where we may miss, but getting into our own rhythm and following the beat and really bringing in this movement and flexibility and flow is where it's at. That's what I'm feeling. Like I said, we're going to dive deeper into this card and get into a whole special spread that I'm going to be choosing for the Capricorn full moon. So do join me for the full moon empowerment reading if you feel so called. Not only do you receive that full reading with all of the spread, the elements, the astrological weather, I'm going to share a ritual with you. You also get your personal card pulls for that lunation, and it's going to be a double with the solstice energies as well. So thank you once once again for being here. Thank you for following through our weekly messages. And again, if you would like a personal card pull for this week, please feel free to reach out in any way that works for you. And I will be doing those as we move through the week. All right, sending all much love, many blessings. Happy solstice, happy full moon.